Hey everyone, day zero update. I am circumcised. So that happened today, April 21st. It was exciting. I'm really happy it happened. It went really well. Um, so just by virtue of the way I tend to tell stories, I'm probably going to jump back and forth a little bit, but I'm going to tell you about how my day went. Probably a lot of sort of erroneous and random details and side stories just because that's how I tell stories. Um, so I got up this morning, tried to have a final wank with my foreskin. Well, did have a final wank with my foreskin, but it was just really, like, I just wasn't in the mood. And that happened. I did because I was like, no, this is the last time. Like, gotta say goodbye to the little fella. Um, and yeah, so did that. But to be fair, like I mentioned in my video yesterday, I have, had my foreskin retracted for a really long time. So I haven't actually used my foreskin to jerk off in a really long time. So actually using it sort of this past week felt a bit strange because I wasn't used to it. So yeah, so I just weird. Try to sort of remember what the sensations are so that I can compare it to when I can jerk off later. And I can remember the sensations, but I don't think I'm really going to be able to be like, oh, I miss wanking with my foreskin because I didn't really used to. Yeah, so got up. My friend who took me, I don't want to use names here, but he came, picked me up because of a wrong turn and a dodgy GPS. We were a little bit late, but got there 5 minutes late. They were fully set up. So, went in. The doctor was there by himself. I don't know if that's how he usually does it or if that's just because of like the coronavirus situation, but he was in there by himself. He was super calm, maybe not like the best bedside manner, not rude or anything, just he didn't really talk a whole lot. He's not a very talkative doctor, which I'd rather have him focus on, the knife around my penis than, worry about making me feel, fluffy inside or whatever. So the way it started, the method that I had done to me was freehand. So he used a scalpel. Sorry, that was my phone. So he used a scalpel and forceps. Was done with local anesthetic. He did 5 injections. So if like you're looking down at your penis and this is like your penis, he did like 1, 2, 3, and then bit my shaft 4 and 5, I think. By this one I was pre-numb and I felt like the pressure, but I couldn't sort of localize it to one specific area. In terms of local anesthetics, what I will say is that he had to top me up during the procedure. So the procedure took about 100 minutes, just over 90 minutes for me from like when I walked into the room to when I walked out. Yeah, there were some times where I'd start getting a bit of sensation again, but the thing about local anesthetic is that people use the word numb, which it does make it numb, but numb doesn't mean you don't feel anything. It just means that like you have extremely reduced feeling. So, if you're going to get it done, just be aware of that, what is usually a pinch. Like if you imagine like, feeling from or pain sort of as other feelings, what's a pinch is more like a caress. So yeah, there would be times where I'd sort of lose feeling, but like I'd start regaining feeling, but I'd be like, oh, I can sort of tolerate it. It's okay, we'll keep going. And then he'd sort of shift to a different area. And obviously I had a bit more feeling. Then I'd be like, ow. And he'd be like, oh, okay. So he'd stop and put a little bit more local in. And then that would be good. During the third jab, the one on the underside, he turned to me and goes, you're doing extremely well. And I was like, oh, thank you. Do people not usually do really well? And he was like, no, usually people don't handle this very well. I can honestly say, with the exception of like when the local was, wore off those couple of times, the injections is the like sharpest, sorest pain. Like other than that, you don't really feel that much pain, just a bit of discomfort. And so yeah, he said that people usually scream or squirm or whatever. And then when I was talking to the receptionist later, he was like, yeah, sometimes he'll be on the outside being like, Christ, what's happening in there? But you know, people react differently to pain. I'm not like trying to pass judgment or, you know, like man up or whatever. Just the different way people deal with things, but it is something to be expected. So prepare for it, I guess. But then again, it's just temporary. Like you feel it go in, he puts the local anesthetic in, you feel it swell, and then you don't feel anything. So, so there's that, and then the way that it was set up, it wasn't like a cesarean where they have like the drape so you can't see anything. He was there. I could see and watch if I want to. I could not watch if I didn't want to. I actually ended up watching a fair bit of it. Not like all of it, but just, you know, I'd sort of look for a few minutes and I'd go back to like looking at the roof or the walls, and I'd like look for a few minutes. The radio was on, so I'd be like, you know, singing along to the radio in my head. Something I found really useful if you're, you know, feeling like a little bit nervous or whatever is focus on your breathing. Always focus on your breathing, and to wiggle your toes and sort of just like, you know, point and flex your feet. Is something else for your brain to do, something else to focus on, and it's a physical action, which, you know, anyone who suffers from anxiety knows that being able to redirect your brain to focus on something else is really helpful. Back to the feeling for a second. See, this is the jumping around that I was talking about. Like I said, you can't feel your penis, but you can feel everything around your penis. So like for me, my penis just felt like incredibly heavy. So like if he, you know, flopped it to one side, I could feel it on the other side and it felt heavier, and I could sort of feel it pulling, you know, if it flops this way, obviously this side is being pulled so it can go this way. Like I could feel those things a lot easier. So yeah, that's a thing. But he got forceps out, did like a little snip, and I heard the snip and I was like, okay, and looked up and, you know, was able to watch that, and he was very delicate with the scalpel and I couldn't feel any of that. The only bit, and this is just me personally, the only thing that really sort of tripped me out is, obviously this is a very vascular area, it was very bloody, was the cauterizing. It's not the fact that he was cauterizing or him using it, because I watched him use it and I was like, oh, okay, it's the sound of it. The sound, it just like grinds my ears, and that's what made me really uncomfortable. But, you know, if you're going through with it, I'm sure there'll be other things that, you know, you might say like the sound didn't bother you, you know, something else did, or there's all sorts of things that can bother people. It is very subjective. Yeah, I didn't watch the sutures. That's something that that's another thing that I was like, I don't really want to watch that. But it's all good because, you know, if you've watched videos, if you're doing research and you've done research, watching videos, you sort of see it from like, you know, if I'm lying down, you see it from this angle, and so you see everything. Where we're looking at down this way, you know, the surgeon's or the doctor's hands are blocking the view a bit or a lot, you know, in different spots. So you don't always just have like the full-on view all the time. I think that's maybe why I was able to watch a bit more than I thought I would have, because I've tried to watch, you know, those medical videos of it being done just to get a sense of it, and I was always just like, nah, don't want to look at that, and sort of ended up turning them off. Yeah, so went through, obviously, like they have to clean it, there's a sterile drape. Like I said, it is very bloody, so a sensation that I thought was really weird and strange is that, you know, you've got the betadine that they clean the area with, and then the sterile water that they then clean so that they've got a skin color surface to use as opposed to a brown betadine surface to sort of look at. And also betadine getting into open wounds stings. It is not fun. It canes. I know why the brightness just really shifted in that. That really stings a lot. So, you know, clean that away. But that sort of mixed with the drape that they use and the blood that goes on it, it does get very heavy, and I did feel it on the inside of my thigh, and like that felt really heavy. It was like just a very strange sensation. um, towards the end, as he was sort of suturing and doing final touches and things like that, about 3/4 of the way through, he looks at me and goes, "It's going extremely well," which I had no reason to think it wasn't, but it was nice to have that reassurance. Alternatively, it could have been going slightly badly, and he was just saying that to convince me, but I don't think that was the case. He was a very professional doctor, had always been very honest and truthful with me. So I think it was going very well, and it feels like it's gone really well. He finished and just talked me through sort of like post-op cares and what that's going to be. So with mine, where he had sutured the inner skin, on one side it was really swollen more so than the other, but that was an area that he'd put lignocaine. And so he did say, he's like, look, that is a lot more swollen. Like, the whole thing is swollen because it's just had surgery. But he's like, that side of it is more swollen. He's like, because of the lignocaine, or the local anesthetic, when it goes away, it will reduce and it will just be normal post-op swelling. I was like, oh, okay. Thought someone was moving around my apartment, but I live by myself. That was weird. I might edit that out. But one thing that I did notice is that, when he'd cut and that inner skin was exposed, the part that's now going to be exposed, permanently, because now I'm circumcised. I did feel that, like, regardless of the lignocaine, it does have a very strong sensation to it. And I was like, oh, like, there it is. It's happened. So what he basically told me to do is, like, get a piece of gauze and some ointment that's like an antibacterial ointment, put it in the gauze, and then you wrap the gauze around where the sutures are, making sure the ointment is covering where the sutures are, and join it. And then he's wrapped a pressure bandage around it, just to stop any bleeding and sort of control the swelling. So post-op care-wise, I'm keeping that bandage on for 3 days. On the 3rd day, I take it all down, and then I just reapply the gauze with the ointment around. I don't need to do the pressure bandage. I'm going to do that every 2nd day from then on. I have a follow-up in 2 weeks where he'll have a look and make sure it's healing okay and doing nicely, which is good. Med-wise, my doctor has put me on oral antibiotics. He's put me on cefalexin, which is a broad-spectrum antibiotic that's used for a lot of things, just prophylactically. So I took 2 this morning before my procedure, and I've taken 2 tonight, and I'm on that for about 10 days. He's also given me some Pantene Fort, which we'll get to the pain thing in a second, and he's given me some Sudafed, which is the brand name. The drug name is pseudoephedrine, which is a sinus and nasal decongestant, but it's a vasoconstrictor, and so it should stop you getting erections. So, need that, because he said, avoid erections as much as you can, because it's not nice. Obviously, nocturnal erections are going to happen, but hopefully we can avoid morning wood and things like that. I have no doubt that when I try and get an erection and it hurts, my penis will very quickly deflate. So I don't think that'll be a problem. In terms of pain, my friend who took me and picked me up, he got circumcised when he was 13, and he suggested wearing really soft, light pants. So I've just got, like, track pants on, sort of like track pants at the moment. Sweatpants might be the better term, depending on where you're around the world. And that's been comfortable, but I'm also wearing some tight underwear so things stay in place. Doctor did say about, in terms of underwear, like, you don't want something too tight because then it can't swell and can't move, but you don't want something too loose because it is very sensitive and it's going to brush and that's going to sting. So I'm comfortable with the underwear that I have on at the moment. Obviously, depending on your junk and what you find comfortable, you will have different underwear that you want to wear. So after we left, I did want to go get Macca's because I was hungry and I hadn't eaten. So my procedure was at 9. I ate at 9. My procedure was at 11. By the time I walked out of there, it was, 10 to 1 almost. So got some Maccas, ordered it. By that point, the way I describe the pain, because the liquor snake is wearing off, and obviously it was wearing off during the procedure, which is why I had to top me up. The way I describe the pain is it's a slicing pain in that, like, it's sharp and stinging, and it's sort of like, I know that I can't really do anything to stop it, which is normal. Like, I've just had skin and nerves sliced through, so that's going to be normal. So we got Maccas, but really we should have gotten my pain meds first. But then we went to a chemist, got the Panadine Forte and the pseudoephedrine. I took them however your doctor prescribes them. And I was actually quite comfortable after that. Had my breakfast, sat at my bar, was on my computer talking to people, which we'll get to in a second. And it felt okay. I think with the, because I said it's a very bloody procedure, I don't think I lost like liters and units of blood, but between like losing what blood I did and maybe not drinking as much as I should have, hydration is important in these things, and having the Panadine Forte, which is what my doctor prescribed me, I was a bit woozy in my head for about an hour, which is to be expected. I think with that combination of things. But then lied down, watched Captain Marvel, and got over it. So post, this is only day 0. Like, I still need to go to bed. It hasn't even been 24 hours yet, but I'm really glad it's been done. Like I said in my previous video, I've been thinking about for so long that it's nice to be on the other side and have it done. Having said that, if you've been doing your research and you have been talking to other people, there are so many people out there on the internet willing to help and who want to talk about it. Utilize them. One thing that I do want to say, which I thought about it after I finished my video last night, is in terms of, so the term that sort of gets thrown around if you're someone who finds circumcised penises sexually attractive or you get turned on by them, is circumsexual, which it's the same as demisexual or whatever word you want to put sexual after it. Like, it's just something that you find sexually appealing. Depending on what Twitter, website, Instagram, whatever you go to find people are turned on by different things about it. I mentioned my friend yesterday who runs 2 circumcision appreciation Instagrams. One is for sort of regular guys who've said on Twitter or whatever that they're circumcised and they're proud and they're happy about it, and the other one is male celebrities that have confirmed that they're circumcised. That's the shtick of the 2 Instagrams. That's just the guy who runs it, who was a good friend of mine, that he just likes them. He has his reasons for it, but it doesn't get too dark isn't the right word, but like intense. But then there's also like a more intense spectrum of circumsexuals who they talk about penises being numb and it's a form of control and it's submissive and like it can just get very intense that way. And if you're not that intense, that's okay. Like, if I didn't get circumcised because I think I'm going to be numb. I didn't get it as because someone asked me to, or they made me, or I think it will hopefully make me last longer when I am having sex. But I don't think it's going to be because I can't feel anything. But people will sort of use terms like dead and numb and no feeling, and if you're not that deep into it, don't let that scare you. Just be like, they appreciate it in a different way than you do. Having said that, if that is why you want to get it done, like, they are your people. Go and have fun and talk to them and be merry. That just wasn't my appeal to it. So that's something I wanted to bring up for my video yesterday. The other thing I want to talk about is like support afterwards. So the person who took me was supportive in that they prefer circumcised penises and they think that more people should be circumcised, but he never pushed it on me. When I said I wanted to, or something I was thinking about getting done, he was very supportive in that if you want to do that, I support that 110%. But he wasn't like, you should go do it, which was great. But afterwards, it's this really exciting experience. It's something that I've been working towards for a really long time, and I finally got the courage to get up and do it when, like I said in my video yesterday, it was something that I thought, that I was just waiting for a reason for it to happen. And the reason was that I wanted it to happen. So I went out and made it happen. So, it's happened, and I just had thoughts running through my head and I wanted to talk about them. But the whole drive back, he just listened to music and sang, which not exactly what I really wanted. Just because I wanted to talk about it, I was excited, but I was messaging people who were excited for me. One of the people I was messaging is a friend I've made through a nudist website who he also has a thing for circumcised penises, and he was thinking about getting cut himself. So he said to me, he's like, that he's using me to vicariously experience this so he can decide if he wants to go through with it or not. And I don't have any problem with that. I'm more than happy to be that person for him. But I was talking to him and he was really excited. And then, my friend who runs the 2 Instagram accounts, he was so excited for me, and he just kept saying he wanted to know. He was like, I don't want to know the procedure stuff, but I want to know everything around it. And there's a bit of a side tangent story with a very gorgeous receptionist who was there, and God, he was just stunning. But so it was like a fun side story that I was telling him, and just how I felt and what the pain was and what the follow-up was, and he was taking this really good interest in it. So if you're someone who, like me, was excited about it, try and find those people and make sure they're the people that are going to support you and help you through it. Because, my friend dropped me off and then he had other errands to run, which was fine. I was so thankful that he picked me up and took me there and brought me back, and that I did feel safe him being there, in that he wasn't judging me or shaming me or thinking I was stupid for wanting to get it done or silly or anything like that. But then I came back to an empty apartment and I saw Dick, and it was nice to have really positive encouragement. And even if it wasn't for the fact that I've been done and they're attracted to it, just the thing of this thing I want to get done, and they wanted to know about it because it was done to me. So, and whether that's friends, family, lovers, people that you've met on the internet, like the guy who's using my experience to vicariously decide if he wants to get it done. I met him on the internet. I haven't met him in person, but we talk about other things as well. This isn't the basis of our friendship, but it is nice that he also wanted to make sure that I was okay and that I was happy with it, and I am. And then, tonight, I haven't told my family about it because it's not really any of their business, and I don't know how they'd I really care I care how they'd react to it, but I don't think they need to know. But then I just spent the last 2 hours on the phone with, one of my best mates, and he was circumcised at birth, and he was super supportive of me, and he wanted to know all about it. So, when it was a positive experience like mine was, I feel like mine is so far, getting to relive it again and talk about it, and it's just a good feeling. So make sure that you have those people as well, I guess. Or try and have those people. If you don't, not everyone does. I'm quite lucky that I have those people, but if you can, make sure you utilize them. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting trying to sleep tonight. I am a bit of a side belly sleeper. I tend to straddle the bed, which obviously I will not be doing tonight. So we will see how that goes. Yeah. There's a part of me that sort of feels like I might as well just lie down on the couch, because you can't really straddle the couch. So if I just lie on my back, I might go to sleep that way, but we'll see what happens. I've taken my padding for it to try and help me get to some sleep, and my Sudafed to stop some nighttime erections, and we will see what happens. I don't know if I'll have that much to report tomorrow. but we'll see. The next update might be on day 3 when I actually unwrap my bandage and see what it's like then. And when I do change it, there's no trying. I have to change the bandage. But when I change it, anything that I've missed. My stitches are dissolvable. I was told to take it easy for the next couple of days. No sexual activity for at least 4 to 6 weeks, which wouldn't be anyway. I want this all completely healed before it starts thrusting in and out of someone else. For a whole bunch of reasons, but infection and cleanliness, but mostly just pain. Mostly just wanting to make sure this is all good and working, and that when I have sex, I can enjoy it, because that's what you should want: have sex to enjoy it. If you have questions, comments about circumcision, getting done, my process, wherever, comment below. Read other people's comments if more people are commenting, see if you guys can answer each other's questions. If you think I'm dumb or silly or stupid, or you're anti-activist or anti-circumcision, that's fantastic. Don't spill it on here. I don't care to read your opinions. I really don't. They don't have a place on this. This isn't why I'm doing these videos, and it's not why I'm posting them. Okay. Have a good day or a good night, wherever you are in the world. Bye.